Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take a modern exam paper, lay it out on the operating table, and dissect it piece by piece. Why? To show you how it's designed not just to test what you know, but to really challenge how you think. So let me ask you something. When you hear the word exam, does your mind instantly go to those late-night cram sessions, just trying to stuff your brain with facts and dates? Yeah, most of us have been there. But what if I told you that's not the whole story anymore? Exams are changing, and we're about to see how. Here's a perfect example. An old school exam might ask, what is HDI? Simple, you just spit back the definition you memorized. But a modern competency-based exam, it asks, why does HDI matter? You see the difference? The game has changed from just knowing a fact to understanding why that fact is important in the real world. All right, first up, the new rules of testing. Let's dig into how these papers are structured, building you up from basic knowledge all the way to some pretty complex problem solving. We'll start at the foundation, level 1, multiple choice questions, or MCQs. But don't be fooled, not all MCQs are created equal. They're actually pretty clever tools for testing different levels of thinking. Let's look at a classic. Which of the following is a renewable resource? You've got coal, petroleum, solar energy, and iron. This is about as straightforward as it gets, right? It's a quick check on a core concept. And the answer is, of course, solar energy. A question like this is all about setting a baseline. It's a simple gut check to make sure you have a basic understanding of the key terms before we crank up the difficulty. Okay, now for another one, but this one asks for a little bit more. Black soil is most suitable for growing rice, cotton, tea, or wheat. The correct answer here is cotton. Now notice the little leap we just made. This question isn't just asking you to define black soil. It's testing the application of a concept. You have to connect two different dots, what you know about black soil and what you know about what cotton needs to grow. It's a small step up, but it's a really important one. Next section, from facts to application. We're graduating from quick-fire questions and moving into case-based scenarios. This is where you have to take your knowledge and actually apply it to a situation. So here's our first case. Picture this. A farmer is using groundwater year after year, and the water level starts dropping. The exam then hits you with a 3-part question. What resource is being used? Why is it running out? And what's one thing you could do to fix it? And what this does is it lays out the exact thinking process they want to see. It's a 3-step journey. You start by identifying the basic fact, then you analyze the problem, and finally, you propose a solution. It's a clear path from knowing something to doing something about it. Now, the next case study gets a little more abstract. It's a real paradox. Imagine a country that's making a lot of money, but its people have poor health and education. The questions really cut to the chase. Will its HDI be high? And what does a situation like this tell us about what development really means? What's being tested here is your power of analysis. Can you see past the obvious? Can you look at a single number, like income, and understand that it doesn't tell the whole story? True development, as this question pushes you to realize, is about so much more than just money. All right, let's move on to our third section, solving real-world problems. We're now getting into short answer questions, where you can't just pick an option, you have to build an argument from scratch. Now, to tackle this next part, we need a really important definition: sustainable development. Basically, it means meeting our needs today without messing things up for people in the future. It's all about balance. Just keep that idea of balance in your head. So, with that definition fresh in our minds, the exam asks, why are renewable resources so important for sustainable development? This question is a big one. It's testing if you can connect two huge ideas. It's not enough to know what they are, you have to use your reasoning to explain how they fit together. Section 4 is about building the bigger picture. The last few parts of the exam zoom out, bringing in things like history and even some practical, hands-on skills. So you'll also get questions about historical understanding, like this one. Explain 2 reasons for the rise of nationalism in India. The skill here isn't just remembering a couple of facts, but actually organizing them into a clear and logical explanation. And finally, the exam gets really practical with a map skill test. You're handed a map of India and asked to mark, say, a major coal region, or where they grow a lot of wheat, or a big tea plantation area. This part is all about pure skill and application. This is the moment where that abstract knowledge from a textbook has to meet the physical reality of geography. Can you take what you've learned and pinpoint it on a map? So we've taken this entire exam apart. Let's put it back together and ask the biggest question of all. Why does this blueprint even matter? Why is it designed this way? And here it is. This is the full picture. It's not just a random jumble of questions. It's a carefully designed blueprint meant to test a whole range of skills, from basic understanding and application all the way to analysis, reasoning, and practical skills. And that's the main takeaway. An exam like this is so much more than just a test. It's actually a tool. It's a tool designed to build and to measure critical thinking, the exact skills we need to tackle messy, real-world problems. So that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If these are the kinds of questions being asked in classrooms today, what kind of problems are you being prepared to solve out there in the world tomorrow? Thanks for tuning in.